Hello.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. How are you? Mum's in the house. What's up, Mum? Hello, ladies and gents. Christos, Pia. Hi, Pia. And Mr. Watts saying, hey. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. Welcome to HeadUcation. Tonight, we will be talking. We are well, thank you. How are you, Pia? Although we were just discussing, actually, Paul's tired today. Paul's not. Paul's had a hell of a week. He's been busy JOICO in. He's got no fuse in his salon, so he's got no lighting.
No.
He's having a mare. He's having a mare, the old lad. Good, Pierre. Good. I'm glad you're okay. So yeah, Paul's tired, but I'm okay. I had half a day off yesterday, so I'm feeling like chipper as. Half a day off since 2000 and God knows when. So we are here today to talk about a really interesting topic, one that I think is very, very an underrated topic. Actually, I'm going to go with an underrated topic, a topic that actually is not very well highlighted. So Paul and I will be bringing to you our thoughts and feelings on this particular topic. We won't spoil it just yet, but we're also doing the giveaway to the video that we posted, I think it was 4 weeks ago now, for the products, my favorite products, Joy Whip, and I can never remember the hairspray's name. It goes straight in my head. Say again.
Flip 10.
The other one.
The
light one.
Oh, yeah. I've got it here. Not in front of me, but in the other room.
Yeah, in the other room. Yeah, anyway, that one. But yeah, we will be giving those away tonight, and then we'll be starting a whole new one next week a whole new giveaway next week on Paul's channel. So do make sure that you're with us for that. So Paul, link question mark? What's that mean? Link for last week to the video. Yeah. Okie dokie.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll pop it in. You can all
spam it with
comment. Yeah, but it has to be a comment, not an emoji.
Not an emoji. Yeah, emojis don't cut it. They get put into like a held for review. They're called. Good. Anyway, apart from tired and all that jazz, how's it going, my mate?
Yeah, good, very good. Yeah, I am tired, but it's been a 4-day shoot with JOICO that we've had. It was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then final day was today. With the guys from Mark Anthony, JOICO. We had amazing clothing stylist, makeup were all great. We had videographer, photographer, amazing team. And then obviously I was meant to be doing the pixie cut tonight, which I will get to. It's still sectioned in my studio, but unfortunately that fuse that went is an old fuse, and we can't seem to locate one anywhere in the country. It's being delivered hopefully by Monday, because I've got another live on Monday. But all my lighting is up in the salon to light the salon because we've got no lights, and the guys were still working, so that's why I haven't been cutting or colouring. It's basically been a Q&A at the minute, but yeah, we've got loads. We've got loads that we want to bring to you.
Loving the Q&A live.
Yeah, well, I like it. No, I like it.
I like a Q&A. Yeah, I do like a
podcast sort of. And we both get to see people coming in with questions and all that sort of thing. No, I like it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm desperate to hear what you guys think of tonight's topic, to be honest, because I think it's quite a thought-provoking one, and I think it's slightly I guess it's slightly, some of the things that I suppose I think about it may be slightly controversial, actually, but not in a bad way, just in a sort of like, maybe some people might think I'm undermining the some of the skill level that's required to be a good commercial hairdresser. But anyway, we'll see. We'll get into it in a minute. Right then. So I'm just on the other end of this trying to
find the link.
Well, no, I've got the link here. Actually, no, I was just looking. Actually, I clicked on, and it says that this video is running limited due to running limited ads due to the unidentifiable advertising content. Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? Anyway, who cares? Who cares about that? But yeah, no, I mean, it's a good one. I think I'm going to enjoy tonight's topic. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Say hi to a few people who have popped in. We've got Thyra in the house. Hi. Pia's giving the old thumbs up. Jess is in the house from the living room. Hobus Pobus or Hippopotamus. Hello all. Hi Hobus. Hi Hobus. That's, you know, hi ho. Hi ho. Right, good stuff. Right, I need to remember how to do the... Oh, there it is. Got it. Got it. Right, I'm going to put the link into the comment section now. Sinead, hello Sinead, and fellow students. This is the link. So if you want to go and spam that with comments, then please feel free. Make sure they're not emojis though, as we said previously. Good stuff. So Paul, tonight's subject. I think this is an interesting one. I have never heard anyone talk about this actually.
Not openly, no.
Not openly, not like this, you know, not on a forum like this. So the subject for tonight, guys, is what does it really take to be a successful commercial hairstylist? What does it really take to be a successful commercial hairstylist? And I'm going to go right out there. I'm going to go straight in with I'm going to go out there and say it's not a huge amount of skill. Now, now, you've got to hear me out there, right? You've got to hear me out. If you think about what it takes to be a commercial hairdresser day to day, probably how many haircuts, Paul, do you think you do on rotation, averagely, throughout your column? What was to be the number one haircut that you do the most?
Begins with B and ends with B.
Bob. Right, so there we go. Right, so that's your number one. We've just lost 4 people when I said that. Right.
Oh no.
But so people unsubscribing. Skill, exclamation mark. Now, well, you got to listen. You got to hear it through, Pierre, because it's an interesting one, right? I'm being controversial at the beginning, but so you start with a bob. That's your biggest haircut, yeah.
Yeah. So
next one.
If we're talking in generalized, bob, long layers.
Yep.
Bob, long layers. I don't want to get too technical because I know where you're going with it.
Like, well, no, go with where you're going with it because but I'm thinking broadly. I'm talking broadly only, you know. So it's not where I'm going with it. I want to hear your take on it, you know. But what I'm saying is that like if I look at myself pragmatically, I cut a lot of long layers.
Yeah.
I cut a lot of bobs.
Graduation.
I cut some variations on some layers, you know, forward grad, you know. So probably the reality is I cut a concave layer, a square layer, a round layer, a bob with no layers, a graduated bob, and then, well, you know, that's it. I'm running out of things. Huh? Fringe, yeah. Fringe. That's not a whole haircut, but a fringe, yeah. I need to be able to cut a fringe. So there we go. So I could probably do 95% of my clientele with 6 haircuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, men's, but I mean, men's is like in short, isn't it? So, but 90. I don't. I mean, I'm not a barber, so I don't do that many men's anymore. But 95% of my whole clientele is covered by 6 haircuts.
Yeah.
So 6 haircuts. Now, obviously, what I would then classify, there are some niche things that, of course, you know, they are more like I would say a pixie cut is very low on the things that I would do. I'd probably do how many pixie cuts a month? Maybe 1, 2.
Yeah, trend led, isn't it? These are all trend led where you're going to go now.
Yeah, fundamental core stuff.
Yeah.
So think about that. So all right, let's look at like the more niche stuff. What would be say your top niche one?
Top niche would pixie. As a trend. If we're talking just about haircuts, I mean, with colour, it's obviously, well,
we'll get to colour in a minute. We'll go to colour in a minute, but I think it's just interesting that, you know, if we, you know, I'd love to hear what you guys think. I can see some people throwing things up there. I just, you know, one length, Sinead says one length and trims, you know, the bread and butter of everyone's. Pierre said men's. Thyra says, I agree, James. It's far more than skill. You are acting as part of the person in the chair and feeding their ego. Yes, of course, totally. You are doing that as well. There's a whole big, you know, there's a big thing about that. We'll get onto that. That's actually where I want to take this right at the very end, to be honest.
But you've also got asymmetry where we're working with.
Yeah.
But again, all trend led, because
niche.
How many asymmetric haircuts have you done in the past 3 months?
What I've got one client who has asymmetric haircut, and she's had a asymmetric haircut for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's it really. So yeah, you're right. And then so therefore, there's 6 haircuts probably that really, could easily justify as just about everything that you would do on a day-to-day basis. And I think for me that's a very. Pia's what's Pia put an O? Oh,
a big O.
A big O. But for me, there's got 6 haircuts that are like covering most of my clients, at least 90% of them. Then from like a blow drying skills perspective, doing a few bouncy blow dries, mostly wrap dry and some kind of wave with some kind of hot tool. I probably only have 2 techniques really that I repeat over and over again because they're quick enough that I can do in a succinct amount of time, and so I've only got a couple of techniques really that I do on that front. And that's it really. So if I look at cutting and styling, I actually only need, core fundamental information, 3 layering techniques, a 1 length barb, a graduated barb, to be able to cut a fringe full and side. We'll call that 2 techniques, and then 2 styling. So I've got 9 things that I need to be able to focus on, on a daily basis. And that's it. It's a really good point, Sinead. And we'll get onto age and demographic in a minute, because actually I think when you look at age and demographic, sometimes the skill level shrinks. The amount of information you need to know shrinks.
Short
grad. That's right. You end up doing tons of those. I mean, so for you, Paul, what would be, styling wise, like, do you have a lot of styling that you do? Is it more, you've got a sort of,
Well, yeah, you say a lot. It's flat, bouncy, movement, and then you've got your hot tools where you'll just emphasize those 3 things. So smooth, straighten, bouncy, curl, and then movement. Add a wave in there or something like that. So when it comes to styling, yes, like wrap dry from Sassoons was made out to be, and it is a major skill to wrap dry hair perfectly is amazing. But yeah, there's this thing. Everything's moved on. I was having this chat yesterday with Bruno, and Sassoons is gone. They didn't move with the times.
Yeah,
they didn't do bouncy blow dries. They didn't do waves and all that. And it was, if you were touching a round brush, you could get out. Whereas we can do a wrap dry, but we can polish it with straighteners. So people don't have to be like Sassoons way back when, where there was no heated appliances. It was like, you get that smooth and that's it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the hardcore Sassoon stuff is gone, and it's more exhibitionism. So, some fantastic hairdressers that I really admire out there, Ben Brown and Mazzella and Palmer and just I won't go on, but fantastic, amazing technical haircutters. But I think that has only got so much value in a commercial environment. When you take that to a salon, there's a very, very small amount of people who that's actually going to cater to. It's exhibitionism in a lot of ways, in my opinion.
Yes, Instagram hair.
Yeah.
And you don't, those hairdressers who you just mentioned, you don't really see them doing long layers or long haircuts, because there's no shock factor or wow factor, because it's just very floaty. You see these haircuts that are precise, but again, going back to what you were saying about how many times would you do that in the salon?
Not that often. Yeah, I mean, you can build a clientele around it, and I'm sure they would argue that. All of them would argue that you could build. Hi, Sand. That you could build a clientele around that, and absolutely you can, and I totally agree with that. But in reality, for making a living, all the rest of us, it's a very limited skill set. And I think so. What for me, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing, actually, and for me, in a lot of ways, because what it does for me is it gives me a really strong focus on what I need to be able to help people with. It gives me the understanding that actually, if I said to you as somebody who was either in the behind the chair, maybe struggling or training or whatever, okay, we need to just really focus on 6 things, getting really good at those 6 things, and they will probably carry you through your entire career. That would make starting this journey as a hairdresser a lot simpler in my book, because especially when you get into colleges, you've got Joanne doing it one way and Vera doing it another, and Vera telling you you've got to learn to do pixie cuts. And how many pixie cuts you cutting in a month, Vera? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
1. So yeah, would it be good that you're really good at them? Yes, it would. But is it vital right now? No, it's not.
And I think one of the biggest points for this to explain is I think creative cutting courses ruined that, because there's no real such thing like as creative cutting. It's a lot of it to do is the reason that college goers and people who are really wanting to excel in the industry come out of college being able to cut graduated bob, one length of bob below, long grad, uniform layer. And the thing that they don't get taught a lot of is refining. And they're cutting all these haircuts as a very basic standard level, but they're looking on Instagram and YouTube and everything at all this really polished stuff, and they see that as creative, where it's not creative. It's basically the fundamentals of hairdressing refined to a T.
Yes, absolutely, totally agree with that. Totally agree with that, and I think that's actually a tremendously good point. That it's something that's massively overlooked. And I think the other thing that on the creative cutting front is that I would look to say to yourself, what is creativity and what's it built of?
Yeah,
it's built of fundamental basic technique.
Yeah,
it's a mixture of basic techniques all combined together in a creative way.
And you
as the individual, and I think that's quite a valuable thing to think about. Is that at the end of the day, if you're very, very proficient at those basic techniques, gluing them together to create creative stuff is actually a lot simpler than you would first think. So I mean, that's for me is that I wanted to have this conversation as openly as this and as frankly as this in front of all you guys, because I have worked with people, I've worked around people who kind of enjoy overcomplicating, and making it sound like our job is rocket science. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not undermining the skill for 1 second. There is a lot of skill in being an excellent hairdresser. There's a lot more to it, though, and this has already been touched upon back here. There's a lot more to it than just being able to proficiently cut hair. And because you will see this, and here's a scenario, Paul, one that I think might, you can piggyback off the back of this if you will, is that you've probably seen it. You've got a stylist who's technically not very strong, but are absolutely packed to the gunnels every single day, and loving life. And then you've got the people who are super technical, super strong, but are dead as a door knocker doing, 2 clients a day.
Yeah.
As a salon owner, what's your experience of that?
Well, I mean, I was talking about this today. I was talking about when I interview people. So one of my clients was going through interview processes about who they want to get in the office. They had somebody who seemed very well educated for the role, but the personality wasn't there. And my biggest thing when I interview somebody, I have to click with them within the first 10 seconds and really get to understand their personality. It has to come across. So when we're looking at it, 75% of what I look for in an individual is personality. 25% is skill, because I can teach that. Like I could teach them whatever they want to know. But even if it is the fundamentals, but if they've got a great personality, as James was saying, they're going to be busier quicker because people are going to absolutely love them to death. Because if you've got the ability to create a rapport relationship and make somebody feel incredible just by being you, then that's so powerful. Than giving someone a super technical haircut where they're looking at it thinking, wow, like this haircut is unbelievable, but they spoke to me for an hour. So they're not going to, they might come back to you for 2, 3 times, 4 times for the haircut. But if they're sitting there and they're seeing everyone else in the salon chatting away, or they're like, oh, my old hairdresser used to chat to me all the time, and they actually knew me. Whereas this hairdresser, I just go to them as a number and get a haircut, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's what James is on about, where technically gifted hairdressers, but no personality or sort of like sass. People will hear about you, but you'll be doing new clients every time. You won't create a rapport with many.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a really, backs up what I was saying completely. And I think it's really important that we recognise that, that side of it. And I do want to get onto the sort of psychological side once we've talked a little bit about colour. But before we go on to that, a couple of things have popped up here. Hairdressers are more interested in Instagram pictures filtered. People are too eager to copy than create, which is a really good point. And then Hobus has said, Paul mentioned in VO in the past that they put tongs into a fire after using them. Interesting how styling has evolved. Are there any old-fashioned styles or techniques that you wish to come back? Well, my favourite old school technique, and let me hear yours, Paul, as well, is a good old-fashioned strong Marcel wave.
Yeah.
Love a Marcel wave, a really deep Marcel wave, beautiful.
Yeah, and I think piggybacking off the back of that comment from Hobus Pobus is like the tongs and everything that have evolved over time, and people have actually lost how to do a Marcel wave because the tools. I mean, GHD don't make a Marcel wave tong. They make a tong and they make a waver, but nothing to create that old school ripple that everybody wants to get, and that's where Thyra was just saying about people want to copy than create. People are looking on Instagram at these sort of Marcel waves that you have the likes of Chris Barron and Sam Villa. When I watched them, they just polished that hair like it looked as if it was just rippling forever. And they're old school. Like they're up on stage saying, "Look, this is what I use an old school Marcel wave tool to create this."
Yeah. Because it's older. I can do it. I can do a pretty mean Marcel wave. And Sinead's just asked can I do a class? Can we do a class on it? Which we definitely can.
Yeah,
we just need lots. We need a mannequin with lots of hair or a human. I'm
maybe
good.
that could be, because me and James have spoken about this in a few times, where we want to bring you something where we're both together in the same room and models and whatever. And it's something we'll definitely do next year because Christmas is now here and we won't have any time. But it's definitely something next year. I don't know what point of the year, but we want to do a full day. So we could do, say, a haircut in the morning or a colour in the morning, haircut and styling day, but take you through basically a whole day in the salon. And that's what we would do.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that early next year. Pia says yes, please. We'll definitely get that Marcel wave stuff done. In what you do and sell it. In what you do, I think I might say. Oh, believe. I couldn't see believe on my phone. Then. Yes, believe in what you do. Very true. Me too, Pia. That is. Oh, there it is. I see. Right, that's it. Good stuff. Well, we'll definitely do that. I do love Marcel wave, so we will definitely do that, and we will try and find a model with plenty of hair to make a very luxurious Marcel wave going on, so that you guys can see that. But I mean, look, it's going to be. We've got lots of ideas for next year with HeadUcation. We've got a meeting with JOICO on the 1st of December. For for them to decide whether they're going to continue to sponsor HeadUcation. But irrelevant of what happens, obviously we'll probably keep it up, maybe not to the same extent in terms of volume of videos, because it is very time consuming for us. So there are some things that you guys could do to help us. And if you're watching this today or in the future, is if you've got Instagram, head over to their Instagram, give them a follow, send them a DM saying that you were sent by HeadUcation or you love HeadUcation. Make sure that you follow them onto YouTube and leave a comment saying HeadUcation sent me. There are some things that you can do to help that process, and especially before next week, because fingers crossed that we've got a week to make sure that we can continue this as
just bring the prizes like James is giving away tonight, and we you can see the colourful just here, and what Pia won the other week, the Luster Lock spray. Without having JOICO as a core part of this, it's given us JOICO UK or JOICO EU, so JOICO Europe. If you head over there, just send them a DM and just say we're loving HeadUcation. Thank you for getting involved or something like that. But yeah, I mean, this is what we want to do. We want to be able to bring you bigger and better prizes every single week or month, and just continue to do what we do, and it does it will massively help.
It does help hugely, we basically reinvest the financial reward that we get from this back into the channel, into the channel. So it's all swings and roundabouts. It's good for everybody, and it helps us to be able to do this. So we would massively appreciate it. Thank you very much for anybody that's gone to do that. Sinead, hashtag JOICO Europe. Yeah, that's it. Hashtag HeadUcation. I always send them a message. Thank you very much, Pia. It's very kind of you. Really appreciate it. So anybody else that's watching this, please, that would be great. We'd really appreciate that. So colours, Paul. Let's talk colour. What do you do? What's your bread and butter, Paul? What do you do? What's 90% your business look like?
Roots, mate.
Roots. The very first thing that you ever learn is 90% of your business.
Yeah.
There you go. So there we go. We've got root tint as number one.
From a cost perspective, or a income perspective, it's blonding. But for every single day colour that we do is roots. Yeah. Whether it's just brown, red, copper, blonde. But blonde's a little bit more technical. But roots is the number one colour service, along with balayage at the minute. But again, that's something that we were speaking about with haircuts. Balayage will probably come in as the graduated bob did, where it was sort of seen as a really cool cutting edge haircut that's now a salon classic. Balayage will probably become a salon classic, along with the highlights. So I mean, roots, full head colour, global application. And then you've got highlights, and they're all things we learn at college.
Straight off the beginning. Yeah. So you've got roots, full heads, highlights, balayage.
Yeah, and then
obviously we've got so that's your 4 techniques that you need to know off by heart. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I used to have a something on my price list called the trend, but it was just a little bit confusing because if people didn't know what the trend was, it'd be like, well, what is that? So I did change it, and there's baby lights, there's ombre, there's dip dye, there's all these things, and there's melts and root melts and color melts and vivids. But bread and butter, or fundamental for a hairdresser, just to get through 90% of your career, roots, global, highlights, and then a touch of being creative. Yeah,
and I think that's where your root tap, your root shadow, your root stretch, your color melt, your ombre, your baby lights, your money piece, your block colors, so even then, you've got 9, you've got 8 techniques plus the other 4. You've got 12 techniques, that would cover nail polish. You know what it is? It's tint. It's brown tint on my nails. I did a color today, Actually, this is an interesting. Well, it's not interesting, but I did a colour today, root tint, and just didn't take. It did. It was like 25%. It was like 25% coverage.
What did you use?
I'm not sure I'll say it on here. It was JOICO.
Okay.
But, yeah,
Oh,
it was
no,
JOICO.
just I'd like to know.
Yeah, it was the half level 9, half level 10 in the 10-minute
Limit 10.
Limit 10, and it was on for probably 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was only 50% coverage.
Well, we had one. I mean, this is all learning as well, guys. Like learning what things like this happen in the salon, and that is it, isn't it? I mean, we had a level 10 after I did that level 10 on our live we did for the masterclass for fellowship. I was showing a few clients Meg's hair color, the level 10 that covered perfectly, and they all got excited. And this lady seen it, and she was like, "All right, I'm booking." She booked in. We put level 10 on, and where there was pigment, 100% coverage, but it was about 75%. And then at the front, where it was 100% grey, was probably sitting very translucent level 11. So we went back in with a level 9 and got 100% coverage. But it's down to individual cases at the end of the day with that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was half 9, half 10.
Yeah.
12 minutes processed it. I slightly over processed it because it was a 9 and a 10.
Yeah.
Thinking that it would sink down, and it was very translucent. I went back in. I used the level. I was under pressure for time. I used the level 8 for 5 minutes, and I got a perfect result.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it happens, doesn't it? I mean, there's times where we've used any sort of colours, and there's been a little bit of translucency or.
I mean, you used to have it Redkin all the time. You know, translucency was just the way that it looked.
Oh mate,
you know,
the oil propelling. I never got 100% coverage really.
No. You had to leave it on for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So possibly changing the weather. Yeah, could be. Yeah, I mean, possibly a bit colder in the salon. Was it cold in the salon? I think actually it did have the door open. I do have the door open in the salon, so it was cold in there today. But my clients prefer to have the door open, so we leave it open, and that's fine. And I have the roof open as well. Karen J, what about sets and perms? And we're going to get onto this, Karen, if that's all right. I'm going to talk about this in a minute once we've covered this color scenario, because I think sets and perms are really interesting in the sense that they are geographically and demographically poignant, and I want to get onto that. Well, that will be what we'll talk about before we talk about the psychological stuff. But yeah, anyway, it didn't take, and I took it off, and I did level 8 for 5 minutes, and that was fine, and that worked. Whether that's going to hold or not, well, yeah, I think it will. But
it's acting as a little bit of like a pre-fill, maybe. Like
yes. Yeah, because as I say, it was about 50% coverage.
Yeah.
So it wasn't no coverage, but it wasn't a huge amount either. Anyway, that's what happened, and that's how I fixed it, and that's what happens in life. There's no getting around that. So we just 12 hair colors. There we go, and that is it. When you say to yourself, how many things should you focus on? Well, probably 4. And then, once you've got those 4 down, then add on to those 4. And again, like we said, 90% of your whole clientele, you can cover with 4 techniques. So why you wouldn't want to become proficient at them, I personally couldn't tell you. But, I still see it to this day where, teaching people highlight classes, especially when I was working for Redken, I taught a highlight class. And I was teaching people that had been hairdressers, 10, 15, 20 years and still only knew one weave. For a highlight, or only ever used one weave and was never even heard of a skip slice or a ribbon weave or whatever, so that was for me always a bit of a shock, so and what I wanted, the point of tonight is just to kind of help anybody see that if you want to improve your hairdressing skills, no matter how long you've been in the industry, break it down, look at what you actually do and what you struggle with, push to one side what you're good at and focus on what you're not. Take those things that you are not yet proficient at or can't do with your eyes closed and in your sleep, and really hone in on them. So, I mean, from a commercial perspective, I think that's it covered. Most people have got 6 haircuts to learn and 4 color techniques, 10 things that you really need to be good at.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there is a lot more to hairdressing than just that. And with no one, for not 1 second, am I undermining that entire process. But what I want to do is look at it from a very pragmatic standpoint. That if you want to really, really focus on being great behind the chair, just put those 10 things in the forefront of your mind, and just really make sure that you are the cream of the crop of those 10 techniques. And I promise you, you'll be busy.
Well, this is what you said about Ben Brown at the beginning. So Ben Brown did an interview, and he lost his business. He lost a lot of things. He didn't think he was a very good hairdresser, and he basically has just churned out the ABC, Vid Sassoon's ABC. And if you want to become a haircutter like Ben Brown, get the Vidal Sassoon ABC haircuts and colours. They do roots on their way. They do forward colours their way. If you want to learn from like the innovator from the early, Sassoon's ABCs are just unbelievable. And where I think that is where people are looking at courses that people are sort of selling as creative, because a lot of people have forgotten the real core fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is a less emphasis on the fundamental stuff these days than ever.
Yeah.
So that's your cutting, that's your colouring. We've already touched upon it. We'll talk about location and demographic in a second, but we'll move into the mental side. Demographic and location can have obviously a huge impact. If you're in a village somewhere and your clientele is very old, then some of these haircuts that we've just talked about will shift. Short graduated haircuts, like mine with a round brush in them, will be
huge.
Huge. And you'll have to be really good at those. You'll have no choice. And I think to myself, okay, that is a fair enough comment, and it's something that I really want to touch upon. You'll be probably cutting a lot more short hair. You'll probably be cutting, doing an enormous amount of root tints, a few highlights, not many balayages, not many ombre, not many root shadows, etc. And that's just facts. That's just the way it is. But that's not a problem. If your demographic is even more limited, and you become extremely proficient at round grads and whatever, and graduated bobs and all these kind of things, that is okay, because remember, at the end of the day, guys, we're not a charity. We are trying to do this. We are trying to do this for a living, and it doesn't matter if it's not the most technical of clienteles, and you're not doing the most technical and creative work. If you're just doing a clientele that pays your bills, great, because that's what it's about. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing it for. We're not doing it for any other reason specifically than to pay the bills. So that for me is where the whole that side of things. And when we look at also look at the numbers. What does it take to be busy? What in terms of numbers? Do you ever do this, Paul, where you break down the numbers? You've got 8 appointments in a day. Averagely, you'll see 5 people. If you cut and color hair. You work 5 days a week. You've got 25 clients. You've got those 25 clients on a 10-week rotation. You need 250 clients to be fully booked all the time.
Yeah.
And it's that is a really for me is a really interesting thing to think about, because that's not a huge amount of people to have in an area where you want to be super busy. So that's very interesting. Just a couple of things popped up here. Then, if you make the clients happy and give them confidence, exactly. Well, that's in the psychology part. This is the next bit we're going to talk about. Before we get onto that, we've got Fu Fla.
Sue Flower.
Huh?
Sue.
Sue. Oh, do you know what? I was having a proper dyslexic moment there. The F and the S just became one.
Yeah.
In my mind. Couldn't separate them. Good work, Sue Flat. Well done. Hi. If a colour not to take on some hair kinds, maybe the client had used shine spray or a certain product conditioner put to seal the cuticle, the colour applied in positive. Very, very possible. Yeah, extremely possible that. Look at Pia laughing at me. How dare you? No, I'm only joking. So yes, that is a possibility. That is a real possibility.
Yeah.
That that there was something on the hair. She might have had a root spray on previously. There's many factors to that, but
like diet. There's a lot of stuff going on with diets at the minute. COVID is a big thing that is
yes. If you've had COVID,
thing about with hair color and texture and density at the minute. So yeah, we're going through a real transitional period with people's hair.
No, absolutely. I think it's very important that, especially with skin testing, that we kind of think about that. Keeping our skin testing up to date and stuff. I think it's really, really important. Good stuff. Right then. So just before we roll into the last bit, which is that kind of psychological aspect, let's just do the giveaway, shall we? Let's just do the giveaway.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto my laptop and I'm going to bring myself into the mix.
But yeah, while you're doing that, mate, talking about demographics, so I've got 2 salons. When I had all 4, to be honest, the demographic was only 20 minutes, 25 minutes away and completely different. Like with Oundle and Kettering now, Oundle is very much roots, blow dry, short grad. Kettering is vivids, balayage, long layers. And there's 25 minutes in between. So yeah.
Really?
It's also looking for a fit for you as a hairdresser. So if you want to just do balayages and vivids and everything all day, every day, you want to be that type of stylist, then you got to find a salon that's suitable for you. You look at Sophia Hilton's Not Another Salon. If you're doing vivids and you live in sort of London, you're sort of going to be inspired and maybe head towards there rather than going to, I don't know, like Sassoon's, Trevor Sorby, that sort of area. But if you want to really hone your craft in cutting and really be precise, you probably look more down that avenue than the creative aspect. Oh, I had a big bit of fluff in front of me.
Right, then I can hear myself twice now, but can you hear me twice?
Village. No, both towns, both small market towns. So they're both market. All 4 of my salons were in a market town. That was the thing I went for, but they're all completely different.
Right, I'm just bringing up the. Oh, look at that! That's cool.
Whoa, we go for you.
Amazing.
We go for miles.
It's like a different universe.
I know.
Right then, where are we at? Channel content. Right then, pick a winner.
Here we go.
Choose from all comments. Pick a winner, and the winner is Pia. She's won again. Any freebies? That was her comment. So, guys, Pia definitely won that because she posted the most comments. But I don't think I'm not entirely sure it picks it like that. But anyway, that is what happened. Pia's got the most comments.
It's a percentage, isn't it? If you're going to be 60-70% of the comments, you're most likely going to get picked.
Okay, good stuff. Well done, Pia.
Well done.
Head over to JOICO's Instagram, send them a DM, say that you had won James's giveaway, which was the Joy Whip hairspray. And what's the name of that hairspray, Paul? I've forgotten. My brain's gone absolutely dead. I can't remember.
Well, it's in my suitcase.
Let me just look it up. Let me look it up.
Oh, okay. You look it up then, yeah.
Yeah, not that one. Yeah, I've gone absolutely brain dead tonight. I think it's having a day off yesterday. I've like lost the plot with it all.
Ruined you.
Ruined me. I'm never having a day off again.
You should never have a day off.
Mate, I don't normally, obviously, but
No, I know, but I'm telling the viewers. Never.
Oh right. Oh, you're telling them that they shouldn't
have a day off.
I thought you were telling me.
Look what happens to you.
Look what's happened to me today. Me S's and me F's can't differentiate them. Right then, I'll find that hairspray in a minute. But anyway, you won't remember this anyway, Pierce. So I don't know why. Just tell them that you've won the JOICO HeadUcation giveaway. James's favourite products. They know what it is, and go from there. Good stuff. Yeah, you do it. You do it. Right then. And the final thing, really, for that last couple of minutes, is really the psychological part. And I think this is the biggest part of all of our jobs. Joy missed. That's it. Well done. Well done. This is the biggest part of our jobs, is that, psychologically, we have to manage a lot of things, disappointment, expectations, people's beliefs in what they've seen on the internet these days. There's so many factors, and I think that if you wanted to say what is the most powerful tool in your toolkit, by far for me, it's that psychological aspect. That part of it is what makes or breaks whether you're a very counselor. Yeah, that's it. It's I think, me as a stylist, yes, I was very focused on good technical application, etc. But what I learned very early on, and I'd love to hear what you think, Paul, what I learned very early on is that really what I needed to be was a really, really bloody good listener.
Yeah.
And just listen and not necessarily have anything to say about any of it, just listen. And because people just want to sort of circumvent their frustrations at you quite a lot of the time, I feel, whether it be their hair or their partner or their work or whatever, or their family, or humor works well. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I do tend to deflect people's negativity with humor. How about you, Paul? What would you say if you were talking to your team now, or anybody that wanted to kind of get ahead in the hairdressing industry? What would you say would be your biggest piece of advice, or the best thing that's worked for you?
Well, I'll tell you the best thing that ever worked for me, and this was before we had social media at our fingertips, was that I used to, on morning TV, I used to always grab a newspaper, and I used to watch the morning showbiz news, like Lorraine Kelly. And that was one thing that become really, and I still do it to this day. So in the mornings when I wake up, I'll check like the rag sort of newspapers, just to see if there's any celebrities that are changing their style, or they've changed something overnight. But now we have Instagram and Facebook and everything that is basically, you type in celeb and you'll see it instantly. But I always wanted to be one step ahead, and I never wanted a client to come in and sort of tell me, oh, did you see so-and-so just changed their hair?
Yeah.
I always wanted to offer them, oh my God, like, I know it would work best with you. I know it would work great with you. Did you see so-and-so? No, I haven't. Oh, here it is. She only did it today or yesterday. But as well with Karen J, humour, I'm not a very serious person. I like to have a real laugh and a joke with everybody. But in the mix, having a really sound knowledge of what's current, technique, what to do. And one of the biggest things, I suppose, that I've just remembered is I talk my clients through pretty much everything that I do when it comes to sectioning, cutting, styling. Why am I using this brush? What other brush could I use? Why am I taking it on this angle? I just like to really educate people and let them know that if they did go somewhere else, like we were speaking right at the beginning, and they had a stylist who didn't talk, and they were like, I wonder if they know, like, sort of, I wonder if they know what they're doing, because Paul used to tell me everything that he was doing, sort of preempted it. When we do a consultation is the most important part. And me and James have spoken about this before. The most important tool in our toolkit is consultation, is us. And having the ability to really communicate and connect with clients, to say, basically preempt, okay, face shape's this, skin tone, whatever we're looking at, we can pretty much guarantee your hair is going to look like this. And then along that journey, there might be things that throughout you think, oh, actually, that length works better. So I'm going to tell him this. I'm going to say, I was going to take it to here. I've just dropped it to here. And I think that works much better on you. And then that's when they really start to be like, this guy or this person is creating something for me live. And I think bespoke, bespoke. And I think that is powerful, really powerful. Where, and again, like we just said about with where at the beginning, if they go to somebody else, just because if they can't get booked in with you, or they think, oh, actually, I might see what someone else has to offer, and they don't offer what you offer in regards to communication, they'll come back to you.
Yeah. It's absolutely bang out advice. 10 out of 10, mate. I love it. And I think it's really, really important to talk them through. I always teach my new clients, especially, to blow dry their hair. You know, whatever style I've given them, I teach them to blow dry it straight off the bat. And that has been so powerful for me over the years. You know, not all of them want me to teach them how to blow dry their hair, but, you know, the ones that have wanted it, I've been so into it, you know, and really, you know, it's been a completely different, you know, caught them off guard, and you know, it's very much opened the door to a lot of new clients to me because of that. Sue, not Flu, Sue. Thanks, boys. So interesting. Make friends with clients. Souffla. Make friends with clients within the salon. Talk and always say hello to clients straight away as they walk in there. Find makes people ease. Yeah, great advice as well, Sue. Saying hello, so easy not to say hello, but it's even easier to say. You know, it just blank people as they come in. I never understand that. You know, a quick hello, even just into the air. Yeah, you know, it makes a huge difference. So yeah, I'm sure you guys on here will all know that, but that's great.
I've got a good point with that as well. So this was something I learned very early on in my career. I can't remember who told me, but the reason some stylists, and this comes down to confidence again, or whatever, they're concentrating so hard on their client, they see someone else and don't want to be, I don't know, not distracted, but have the confidence to say hello and maybe not get. Like, be real. I've got another quote. I heard this yesterday, mate. This changed my life overnight. But
go on.
I will tell you 1 second. But this first story was where people might not want to make eye contact, or they might not want to say hello in case they don't get something back. And I think having the confidence to be able to just say hello to whoever and not really expect anything back, I think that's a massive thing. If you just like, hey. And then if no one says anything back, I mean, if I said to James, right, mate, and he didn't answer, that might make some people feel a bit, oh my God. But I think just being in that sort of that realm of self-confidence, but just to be like, hey, how you doing? And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. They're in their own sort of zone, but I have said hello. And then where it came from was the big issue people. So they stand on the street every single day. Do you want a big issue? Do you want a big issue? No. Like, they don't care. They're fulfilling a service, and they're fulfilling that they're bringing in income to support their life, and they don't care how many no's they get, because if they get 10% yeses out of I don't know 10 people, then it's all worthwhile for making that contact. And that's the thing that I learned very early on, that if they can say big issue all day and get a handful of oh yes, then me saying hello to 8 people a day, 20 people a day, it's not going to change much, is it?
No.
But the quote I heard last night, and this was to do with YouTube. I was listening to a podcast on the way back from the shoot, and somebody said to have the courage to be rubbish.
Yeah, totally. It's really important, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
About
I'm
anything
still,
in life.
yeah, I'm still rubbish at loads of things, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing, right? So, I mean, look, you guys, we joke, we mess around, you know, when I mispronounce, you know, people's name. But my biggest fear in life is reading out loud,
Yeah.
and so it's still my biggest fear in life. And every week we come on here and I, you know, read out loud, and it is it's, honestly, the challenge is real. The So if anybody wouldn't want to do this in the entire world, it would be me. You know, I would shy away from this really at the drop at the you know in a heartbeat, because it's just to read out loud. It's like the biggest challenge ever for me, and I think, you know, we make light of it and have a laugh, and that's great. And I'm that's the way I want it to be, and I never want it to be any different. I kind of enjoy murdering people's names, and just, you know, we've rolled with it, you know, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And that's been great, you know, and that's helped my confidence with reading out loud enormously. So to you guys, thank you, you know, for just having a laugh with me about it, and you know, and not judging me for it, because, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't, you know, I can't change it, you know, and it just is what it is. And you know, so it's that daring to be rubbish. I think that's, you know, and that probably is as true as ever with what I do on here. So Sinead said positive attitude and a kind ear. That's very, very true. They do like to be taught how to blow dry, but luckily they can never do it as well as you. Well, actually, I've got one client. She's most definitely better at blow drying her hair than I am. She always leaves with wet hair. Have the courage to be like that. Yeah, totally. I love that. He is laughing up. Love my accidental name. Sue could have a good new name. Yeah, her name's Fu Sue. Yeah, pronounce your name correctly first time. No, I mean, and that's the thing with being dyslexic. It's a really interesting one, you know, because some days I'm not as dyslexic as other days. I don't know if any of you guys are dyslexic, but some days you know, I can read, I can spell, I can whatever, and other days it's like someone's put a fog up in front of everything that I ever could remember or know. It's a really strange and frustrating. Yeah, it's one of those things. But I'm rubbish at blow dries, trying hard not to be so. That's a good quote. More courage. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think probably blow drying is one of my weakest areas. You know, and it is what it is, isn't it? You know, you plow it. You know, I've got proficient at it to a standard that I'm happy with, but you know, I'm not my strongest thing. How about you, Paul? What would you say your biggest weakness is as a hairdresser?
Hair up, mate.
Hair up, yeah, same.
Yeah. Very open about it when clients are sort of talking to me, and to be honest, off the cuff, I could just be sort of working with hair and sort of, oh yeah, that's cool. But if somebody come into me and said, oh, I get it a lot. Like, I'm doing their hair, and then, oh, I'm going out for my birthday. Can I book in with you to put my hair up? I'm like, you can book in, but not with me. Like, my team are. Some of them are incredible at hair up. So why would I put the pressure on me to make somebody's birthday night hair? Yeah, that's my my weakness. But during lockdown, I really worked really hard on my precision cutting.
Yeah. No, that's a great call as well. I mean, and I practice a lot. I mean, I've spent a lot of time practicing. I try and practice every week.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny that I tend to practice what I'm good at. But you know, but I guess it's practicing for repetition's sake rather than learning something new. But
Yeah.
I've set myself a challenge for next year to start doing stuff that I'm not comfortable with or I'm not very good at. So Sue says, Sue Fu, thank you very much, James, like that. Good stuff. Karen Dave.
My sister loves being called Kath now, so
Kath, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm just renaming everybody that comes on. We're going to come to the end of this in a minute, guys. Sinead's dyslexic, Karen's dyslexic, Great with numbers. People find your niche. Yeah, I'm quite good with numbers, to be fair. I'm just really good at talking. Don't put yourself down. No, well, I'm not. I don't feel down about it, Sue. Honestly, I really don't. It's just it's challenging. That's it, and that's the way it's always been. Hair up for Pia, and as with all professionals, you need to know your limitations. Exactly, Karen. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to wrap this up on the hour mark. As always, you've been wonderful guests.
Just one thing.
Oh, go.
Just because I don't know what I've been doing this week, but there's been a lot of things that I've been listening and reading. And for anybody that suffers with anxiety, this just popped up on TikTok the other day. And there's a thing called where the body goes into some sort of diving. Like your body changes and your heart, when you're anxious, your heart races and races and races. And apparently, if you get a handful of water and put it on your face, or you dunk your face in water, your heartbeat automatically slows down because it thinks you're diving into water.
Right.
And it takes away the feeling of anxiety. So yeah,
wow.
I'm not an anxious person, but when I heard that, I thought that's really
now
cool.
You're just going around chucking water on your face to keep your heart rate down.
I'm getting slower by the day. But I
like that tip. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
So since anxiety is something I never suffered with until I was 29. Yeah, I had one day that was probably one of the worst days of my life, and it triggered in me the ability to be anxious or feel anxious, and it's never left me. So it's really interesting. So yeah, thank you for that, mate. That's a good one. I might try that next time I'm struggling to breathe.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, we'll do. You're welcome, Pia, and stick my head in the sink. Yeah, just come back. You're all right. You're just drowning in water.
Yeah,
just being anxious.
Right, Sinead, just stick your head in water.
Guys, as I was saying before, thanks for your comment there, Paul. I love that, actually. Please look after yourself. You've been a great audience as always. Do join me and Paul again next Wednesday, same time on Paul's channel. And I'm not sure what we'll be doing in terms of technique or color. I don't know if Paul will have heating, lighting, whatever's going on in his salon. If he hasn't, I'll be doing the polka dot color that I promised that we did from last week. I will make sure that I will fulfill that next week. If not, it'll be the following week. We'll see. But we will be on Paul's channel next week doing some kind of hair. So please do make sure you come and join us. If you've got the time and if you haven't, then please catch us up later. But if you don't manage to catch us, we love you anyway. Thank you very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, mate. Loved it.
Ciao, ciao.